Good evening, Pinvatuni, friends. Welcome to our online broadcast here from the London Mindfulness Meditation Center. As you know, we have begun to go live again during this Rains Retreat to support your religious observance and practice during the Rains Retreat here at the London Mindfulness Meditation Center. So during this time, the congregation gets closer to the Triple Gym, organized religious events, to listen to the Dhamma, to practice the Dhamma, and even commit themselves daily to worship or even other religious practices. So during our broadcast, we worship the Buddha, chant Paritta Sutta, do brief meditation, and listen to a short series of reflection, continued reflection on the Dhamma. So today the puja is sponsored by Mr. Nuwan Manchanayake and Mrs. Anusa Manchanayake, along with their children Abita and Brittany. And the sponsors have come to the vihara to make the offerings to the Buddha and are participating with us. So the intention is to bless the family members with good health and happiness, and most importantly to bless their children with good health, happiness, and every success in life. So we bear that in our thoughts when we engage in the worship, and if you'd like to also sponsor a day and engage in religious observance, please do contact us. So our intention is to bless the family for their well-being and happiness. May they all be well, happy and peaceful. So before we worship the Buddha, let us observe 5 precepts. Please say Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa 3 times. Okay, so say after I say, okay? Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami, Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami, Adinādāna veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami, Kāmesu micchācārā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami, Musāvādā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami, Suramiraya majjapamā daṭṭhāna veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami, Tisaranena saddheṃ pañcasīlaṃ dhammang sādhukang surakkhitāṃ kattvā appamādena sampādetabbang. So let us worship the Buddha together. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Iti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vijjacharana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhamma sarathi sattha deva manassanang buddho bhagavati. Buddhang jivita pariyantang saranang gacchami. Swakahato bhagavata dhammo sanditthiko akaliko ehi passiko opanayiko paccatang veditabbo vinyuhiti. Dhammang jivita pariyantang saranang gacchami. Supatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Ujjupatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Nyayapatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Samicipatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Yadidang cattari purisa yugani atta purisa puggala esa bhagavato savaka sangho ahuneyo pahuneyo dakhineyo anjali karaniyo Anuttarang punyaketang lokasati Sanghang jivita pariyantang saranang gacchami Ganasarappadittena dipena tamadang sina Tilokadipang sambuddhang pujayami tamonudang Vannagandha gunopetang etang kusuma santating pujayami munindassa siripada saroruhe Pujemi buddhang kusumena nena punyena medena ce hotu mokkang puppang milayati atai dhamme kayo tatayati vinasa bhavang Adhivasetuno bante paniyang parikappitang anukampang upadaya patigannhatu uttama Adhivasetuno bante gilana paccayang imang anukampang upadaya patigannhatu uttama adhivasetu no bhante vesajjang parikapitang anukampang upadaya patigannhatu uttama adhivasetu no bhante sabbang saddaya pujitang anukampang upadaya patigannhatu uttama vandami cetiyang sabbang sabbetani supatititang saririka dhatu mahabodhing buddha rupang sakalang sada yassa mule nisennova sambari vijayang aka patta sabbanyutang satta vande tang bodhipadapang ime ete mahabodhi lokanatena pujita aham pite namassami bodhiraja namaste kayena vaca cittena pamadena maya katang acayang kamami bante puripanya tathagata kayena vaca cittena pamadena maya katang acayang kamami dhamme sandittika akalika kayena vaca cittena pamadena maya katang acayang kamami sangha supatipanna anuttara ettavata ca amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya ettavata ca amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya ettavata ca amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya idamme ñātīnaṃ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo idamme ñātīnaṃ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo idamme ñātīnaṃ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo imina punya kammene mami bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya idamme punyang asavakkaya vang hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu sadhu sadhu sadhu. Pass this. So now we are going to chant the Ratana Sutta, wishing you all with good health and happiness. As you know, the Ratana Sutta was uttered by the Buddha during a time of difficulty, and upon request of the citizens of Isala, the Buddha delivered this sutta that contains the virtues of the triple gem. So may the blessings of the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, may the virtues of the triple gem embodied in the sutta be conducive for your well-being and happiness. And we, most importantly, today bear the sponsors in our thoughts, Mr. Nuwan Manchanayak and Mrs. Anusha Manchanayaka, and their children Abita and Brittany, and other family friends who are also participating here with us. May you all be well, happy and peaceful. May you be blessed with good health and happiness. May your righteous aspirations be fulfilled, and may the future of your children be successful. May they excel in their life. With such righteous and kind intention, we begin our chanting. So please listen to the chanting with great attention. We wish you, our online congregation as well, good health and happiness. And if you are bearing anyone in your thoughts, please do share our link so that they can listen to the chanting live here from the London Mindfulness Meditation Center. Samanta Chakravalesu Atra Gacchantu Devata Saddhammang Munirajassa Sunantu Saggamukkadang Paritta Savana Kalu Ayang Bhadanta Paritta Savana Kalu Ayang Bhadanta Paritta Dhamma Savana Kalu Ayang Bhadanta Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Yani Bhutani Samagatani Bummani Vayani Vayantalikhe Sabbeva Bhuta Sumana Bhavantu Atapi Sakkacca Sunantu Bhasitang Tasmahi Bhutani Samita Sabbe Mettang Karote Manusiya Pajaya Divaca Haranti Baling Tasmahi Nirakkata Appamatta Yang Kinci Vittang Idhavahurang Va Saggesu Vayang Ratanang Panitang Nano Samang Atti Tathagatene Idampi Buddhe Ratanang Panitang Etena Saccena Suvatti Hotu Kayang Viragang Amatang Panitang Yadajjaga Sakya Muni Samahito Natena Dhammena Samatti Kinci Idampi Dhamme Ratanang Panitang Etena Saccena Suvatti Hotu Yang Buddha Setta Parivannai Sucing Samadhimanantari Kanyamahu Samadhinatena Samona Vijjati Idampi Dhamme Ratanang Panitang Etena Saccena Suvatti Hotu Ye Puggala Atta Satang Pasatta Chattari Etani Yugani Honte Te Dakhineya Sugatasya Savaka Ete Sudinnani Mahappalani idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvatti hotu ye suppayutta manasa dalhena nikamino gotama sasanamhi te patte patta amatang vigaiha laddha mudha nibbuting bunjamana idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvatti hotu yatinda kilo pathaving sitosiya catubbhi vātebhiya sampakampiyo tathupamang sappurisang vadāmi yo variya saccāni avecca passati idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvatti hotu ye ariya saccāni vibhāvayanti gambhīra paññena sudesitāni kincāpi te honti busappamatta nate bhavaṃ atthamaṃ ādiyanti idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvatti hotu sahāvassa dassana sampadāya tayassu dhamma jahita bhavanti sakkāya diṭṭhi vicikiccitanca sīlabbataṃ vāpi yadatti kiñci චතුහ පායේහි ච විප්පමුත්තෝ චචාබිඨානානි අභබ්බෝකාතුං idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvatti hotu kincapi sokammang karoti papakang kāyena vācā udcetasāvā abhabbaso tassa paticcādāya abhabbatā diṭṭha padassa vuttā idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvatti hotu Vanapagumbe yatha pussitagge gimhanamase pathamasmin gimhe tatupamang dhammavarang adesai nibbānagaming paramang hitāya idampi buddhe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvatti hotu varo varanya varado varaharo anuttaro dhamma varang adesai idampi buddhe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvatti hotu hinang puranang navang natte sambhavang viratta citta ayatike bhavasming te kīna bija avirulicchanda nibbanti dhīrāyatāyaṃ padīpo idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvatti hotu yāni dabhūtāni samāgatāni pummāni vāyāni vayantalikke tathāgataṃ deva manussa pūjitaṃ buddhaṃ namassāma suvatti hotu yāni dabhūtāni samāgatāni pummāni vāyāni vayantalikke Tathāgatang deva manussa pujitam Dhammang namassāma suvatti hotu Yani bhutani samagatani Pummani vāyani vayantalike Tathāgatang deva manussa pujitam Sanghang namassāma suvatti hotu Etena sacca vajjena dukkha bhupasamintute Etena sacca vajjena bhaya bhupasamintute Etena sacca vajjena roga bhupasamintute Sabba buddhanubhavena Sabba dhammanubhavena Sabba sanghanubhavena Buddha ratanang dhamma ratanang sangha ratanang Tinnang ratananang anubhavena Chaturasiti sahassa dhammakandhanubhavena Pitakattayanubhavena Jinasavakanubhavena Sabbete roga sabbete bhaya Sabbete antaraya Sabbete upandava Sabbete dunnimitta Sabbete avamangala vinassantu Ayuvaddako, Dhanavaddako, Sirivaddako, Yasavaddako, Balavaddako, Vannavaddako, Sukavaddako, Hotu Sambada Dukkha roga bhaya vera Soka sabbe upaddava Aneka antarayapi Vinassantu ca tejasa Jaya siddhi dhanang labhang Sotti bhagyang sukhang balang Siriyayu ca vanno ca Bhogang buddhi ca yasava Satavassa ca ayu ca Jiva siddhi bhavantu te Devo vassatu kalena Sassa sampatti hetu ca Pito bhavatu loko ca Raja bhavatu dhammiko Akasattaha ca bhummattaha Deva naga mahiddhika Punyantang anumoditva Chirang rakhantu loka sasanang Akasattaha ca bhummattaha Deva naga mahiddhika Punyantang anumoditva Chirang rakhantu Dhammadesanang Akasattaha ca bhummattaha Deva naga mahiddhika Punyantang anumoditva Chirang rakhantu mang paranti. May you all be blessed with good health and happiness. May you and your loved ones stay blessed throughout. May all your righteous aspirations be fulfilled. And we also bless our sponsors, Mr. Nuwan Manchanaik and Mrs. Anusha Manchanaik, along with their children, Abita and Brittany. May they also be blessed with good health and happiness. May all their righteous aspirations be fulfilled, and may the children excel in future, being successful in their education and in life. So we bless everyone, saying sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So now it is time for meditation. If you have just joined us, we go live every day at 6:30, sharing with you our religious worship, evening worship, chanting, meditation and short-term reflection. So if you have just joined us, we are now about to do meditation. So please adjust yourself if necessary. If not, stay the way you have been sitting, but obviously choosing a suitable posture for meditation. So stay still with your back straight and eyes gently closed. So once you have composed yourself, be mindful of the body that is still and calm and peaceful. Your body is not moving. Also be mindful of the stillness in the mind. The mind is not wandering, it's not active. So we do Metta Bhavana as a practice to support ourselves and those that you associate with. So Metta means loving kindness, goodwill, well-wishing thinking, every time basing oneself with loving kindness. We aim to be that source of happiness for ourselves, for those that you interact with daily. Last few days we have been emphasizing that where there is metta, there is no place or space for judgment. Where there is metta, there is no dissatisfaction. Where there is metta, there is no judgment, there is no impatience. So metta, we develop patience through metta, we develop forgiveness through metta, we develop the ability to change ourselves as well as those that you interact with. So kindness can transform everything. Even the way you talk, speak, interact, think, metta can be a powerful source a source of happiness for everyone. Challenging moments can arise, but when we are mindful, we can stay the same. We don't allow the challenging situations or circumstances to overrule your loving thoughts that you generate. So metta can be practiced at other times, not necessarily sitting like this for a few minutes. So you can repeat these in your minds quietly. As I say, this is not a mantra but a supportive mechanism to develop metta and transform your way of thinking. May I be well, happy and peaceful. May I be blessed with good health. May no harm come to me. May no problems come to me. May no difficulties come to me. May I always meet with success. May I also have the patience, courage and determination to meet and overcome difficulties in life. May I be free from pain and suffering. So don't recall those who have passed away, but bring into your thoughts few of your close associated relatives and friends. May my parents, grandparents, teachers, uncles and aunts and in-laws, husband, wife or partner, brothers, sisters, brothers-in-law, sisters-in-law, cousins, nephews and nieces, children, sons-in-law, daughters-in-law, grandchildren, your friends, colleagues at work, neighbors. So bring some to your thoughts. May they all be well, happy and peaceful. May they all be blessed with good health. May no harm come to them. May no problems come to them. May no difficulties come to them. May they always meet with success. May they also have the patience, courage and understanding to meet and overcome difficulties in life. May they be free from pain and suffering. May all living beings be well, happy and peaceful. May all living beings be free from pain and suffering. May I be well, happy and peaceful. May I be free from pain and suffering. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So we have finished worshipping the Buddha, chanting, blessing you all with good health and brief meditation. So now this part is our continued reflection on the first sermon of the Buddha, which we began to reflect on since the full moon day last July. So far we were discussing on the noble truth of suffering. So the sutta, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, or the Buddha's first sermon, addresses the 5 ascetics that have been practicing austerities or ascetic practices along with ascetic Gautama. So he addresses them as bhikkhu, but he also says those who have renounced or taken the path of houselessness, or those who have renounced the household life, pabbajita, they should avoid the 2 paths or 2 extremes that could not be any use, that could be fruitless. Kama sukhalikana yoga and attakilmatthana yoga. And then we discuss the examples that the Buddha gave in his explanation or in his layout of the 4 Noble Truths, of which the first one is the truth of suffering. So with examples of birth, aging, illness, death, associating with unfriendly ones, departing from loved ones, they sometimes might not remind ourselves that life is surrounded with that human experience of unhappiness and suffering. So they can be momentary, but a mindful person will realize that they are really the reasons of or examples of suffering as well. So yesterday we referred to one which is the seventh example, Yam Pichang Nalabati Tampi Dukkang, which is quite an example that we all go through a moment or moments of dissatisfaction, and therefore this dissatisfaction actually is something that goes through within our minds rather than the nature of experience, such as aging and or even illness and death of someone else or even oneself. This dissatisfaction actually takes place all the time. Because of the conceit or mana, we compare our things that we perceive through our sensory experiences. That then becomes sometimes beyond your expectation, or that not getting what you expected or what you wanted is actually a reason for suffering. So this is what the Buddha explained, that this suffering is something in your mind that you cause through not getting what you had expected. Yampi chang nalabati tampi dukkhang. So today I want to briefly focus for about a couple of minutes. The last example. Now sankittena. So sankittena here means in essence, or putting all in a summary. Sankittena panchupadana khanda dukkha, which is loosely translated as clinging. So upadana means to cling, pancha means 5, khanda means aggregate. So clinging to the 5 aggregates is essentially, or as a summary, dukkha. So that leads to suffering. So what is this nature of clinging? If we have a look, that will be interesting. So first of all, let us explain what Panchakhanda means. Panchakhanda means 5 aggregates. Now we are humans, or any species or anything can be analyzed deeper into 5 aggregates. So myself as perhaps a person, if I take as a human, is a human in the outer and the conventional context. But the phenomena within will be of 2, mind and matter, nam and rupa. So the form is the body, and everything that goes through in the mind is another aspect of ourselves. And that is composed of 4 things. So the form is the rupa, vedana is the feelings or the contact, sanya the perception, sankhara conditioned mindset, and vijnana is the consciousness. So we within, or us in the mind, would be the contact with the sensory objects, or objects that enter through your senses, the identification of those through the perception that we have already had, such as could be memory or experiences, or even the knowledge. And once identified, we have some mental states or some understanding of the current form that is in contact, and that is all due to the awareness that exists within. So therefore, all 4 can sometimes be seen triggered by one moment of contact with an object through either your eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, or even the mind. So, say for example, I see an apple, and that apple is seen because I have consciousness and my eyes are wide open, and the object or the apple is also in front of me. And I understand this as apple because of the perception that I have. Maybe I have seen apples before, or I have also understood the concept of apple, and I have eaten, so I identify it as an apple. Now, what I form, or the type of mental states or ideas that arise, would be sankhara. What happened within me, what type of decision or judgment or understanding of the apple that I have. That will be the mental states arising at that very given moment. Now this all happened in a perhaps a nanosecond. So when it comes to this, the moment how you actually engaged with it or identified yourself with it, and when we actually cling onto a particular identification, that becomes upadana khanda. You actually cling to these five aggregates. You cling to this identification of perhaps I, or perhaps cling to the taste of the apple, or whether you like or dislike a particular type of apple. All of this could be those mental states that we sometimes cling to. So when it comes into deeper context, sometimes these mental states, or sankhara or sankhata dukkha, as we've just briefly touched yesterday, these experiences, now it can go, it's not, I just given an apple as an example, but these experiences go beyond or even sometimes deeper, and there are times when we cannot let go of certain things, when we cannot release ourselves. We cling on to these, and we sometimes insist, or we sometimes develop defense mechanism, or we sometimes change our ways of looking at things or perceiving things. So when we condition ourselves, sankhara or sankhata, when we have a certain type of mental state which we then use it to guide, or to actually form a continued existence. In this case, existence means continued thinking, or even continued grasping of it. Then that becomes part of suffering, because that then leads to us to accept or reject a particular moment that we go through. Whether if I go back to the example of the apple, for me to like it or dislike it would be the way I actually perceived and linked myself into that particular mental state, and being unable to free myself would be suffering. Now this is just a simple example. There are lots of other experiences or other moments when we are not able to free ourselves. So for example, if I take my personal belonging that I may have, if it breaks because of one's identification with it, and not being able to realize that it has a breaking nature, or even it has even if you see certain changes in that item, we feel painful. Now that item, if it is painful to you but not painful, causing pain to other people, that means the way you have bonded with that, or the way you have identified yourself with that item is the reason of how you got conditioned and how you actually came to a moment of suffering. So the moment you don't identify yourself, so as if like in the case of the item that I said, if other people don't feel sad when that item breaks, because they have not identified themselves with that particular object. So what I have done, or I may have done, or one may have done, would be you have clung on to that mental state of the item that you possess, and therefore it has led to or caused yourself to have suffering or to experience suffering. So you can see how the Buddha takes a mental approach or a psychological approach here to see how lots of the time we condition ourselves through experiences, perhaps not realizing the truth. And when we are in that state, we tend to actually have a dissatisfied moment. And if we are to actually think and apply this to every second of whatever awareness we have through our senses, such as eyes, ears, nose, tongue, or body, as well as even perhaps in thinking. So the moment we actually, every moment if we live with judgment and dissatisfaction, and as I said yesterday, compare, criticize or complain, that critical moment leads yourself to suffering. And actually it is not the object outside your five senses that is the reason for suffering, but actually it is the mental state or the conditioned state of mind that leads oneself to suffering. So hence, essentially, or in essence, Panchapadana Khanda Dukkha, the clinging of to the five aggregates is essentially the truth of suffering. So therefore, you can we can see that this suffering, actually the Buddha was trying to talk, as I said from the very beginning, is not necessarily individual personal experience. It is a universal experience. There cannot be a suffering that is linked to just one person, or there cannot be that suffering linked to you cannot say this is an Asian suffering or a British suffering, or this is like personal individual suffering. That suffering is quite unique to everyone, and the nature of suffering is quite same, and therefore this is the truth of suffering. It is not limited to one moment or one. So if we can free ourselves from not clinging to mental states, not clinging to the ideas or the views or experiences or even identities, there will be no suffering. So we'll look at the cause of suffering from tomorrow, which is the second noble truth. So thank you for being with us so far. We believe the series of talk is helpful for you to understand what truly the Buddha taught us. And during this rains retreat, we are committed to the program so that you can enhance your knowledge, or even remind yourself and practice the Dhamma however possible. So today the puja and the broadcast was sponsored by Mr. Nuwan and Mrs. Anusa Manchanayaka and family and friends. So we bless the sponsors and the family. May all merit accumulated by sponsoring the puja, by observing precepts, worshipping the Buddha, meditating, chanting the suttas, and even the gift of Dhamma or Dhammadesana, may all merit accumulated be conducive for the well-being of the family. May all their righteous aspirations be fulfilled, and most importantly, may they all be blessed with good health and happiness. And you as online participants as well, may you also be well, happy and peaceful. So we say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So enjoy the rest of the evening. Stay safe, take care, and have a very good evening, and see you tomorrow at 6:30. Bye-bye.